Although Skibidi Tower Defense is a good game, there are many things that they could add. And so not too long ago, I put out a community post in my Discord server, link in description, please join up, asking you guys to send your best update ideas for Skibidi Tower Defense. Let's see what you guys want in the game. A controllable unit. That's actually smart. If you guys have ever played Skibidi Defense, some of the really strong units in the game have a feature where you can literally control them, as in you can play as them. This mechanic is super fun to use, but at the same time it'd be super hard to implement. So even though it's a good idea that's already been used in another game, I don't think they'd be able to implement that. Make it so that you can trade gems. I don't know why they don't have this. One thing that people complain about is that you can only really trade units in the game, which is super annoying considering the fact that you have to hope that you get a really good unit from the gamble system, or else you've pretty much been grinding for nothing. I know that they've added the crafting system, which completely counteracts that, but being able to trade your gems, aka your progress and how much you've grinded, would be really cool. I believe the main reason they haven't done this is because of the fact that if duping comes out, and you can multiply your gems to billions, it would be much more harder to control compared to if a unit gets duped. But either way, I don't know, if they can find a way to make it so you can trade gems, that would be really nice. Make all Roblox units buyable using free-to-play. I agree with this one, I really think they should do it. Five Nights TD has a system where you can spend a ton of your coins in order to get one of those Robux units, instead of actually spending the Robux. I think they should kind of copy this in a way. However, in order to make it so that those Robux units are still rare even though people can buy it off coins, make it so that it costs one, a lot of coins, similar to Five Nights TD, but also, I think they should make it so that you can only buy one of each exclusive unit with your coins. So for example, say you buy Ethan 99, instead of spending the 549 Robux, you could spend maybe 50,000 coins. The difference would be that if you buy this unit with Robux, you can buy it as many times as you like, but if you buy this with coins, you won't be able to buy it with coins again. I think this will help a lot since the rarity of those exclusive units will still be pretty rare in the marketplace, and it'll also stop people with millions of coins from just bulk buying as soon as it launches, and then just selling it for crazy profits. Bring back the challenges for prisms. They said that they were gonna rework this, but I don't know how. I know I didn't really get to play this feature since I wasn't really playing the game that much when it came out, but people loved it, like a lot, and I'm actually kinda sad that they removed it. Rework it, please, this was really good. Add more multiverse characters, like the zombie future clockman. I feel like this game does have a lot of ideas that they could implement. They have many characters from the multiverse that aren't used in this game and that are just like really good ideas. Dom released an entire universe where all of the Titans are pretty much just Transformers characters. Now you can't convince me that that wouldn't be super cool if they added all those Titans in a crate. Let's see what Yetmex has to say. Create a mode where you start out with just a random number of dollars and cannot get any more after that. I feel like this might be cool for a story mode, but I don't see how you could find this fun in the real game. Actually wait, this gives me a good idea. Since if you only get a certain amount of cash at the start of the game and you have to spend it super wisely in order to win, what if they made a speedrun mode? A speedrun mode where you use your own units and whoever can beat the game with the fastest time, only using the certain amount of cash that they get at the start of the game, gets put on the leaderboard and then the top 100 people get, I don't know, something. Maybe like 3 times speed or something. This would definitely like force players in order to come up with strategies of all the different units in the game, and then figure out what is the best budget and strategy in order to win the fastest. That way they'd have to go through all the old units and actually do some calculations in order to get the best times. But on the other side, you know, people could just copy everyone else and then win, and then get on the leaderboard. But not a bad idea. Content wars unit, making me a unit, and a unit create with other content creators. We do need to share a unit, thank you for asking. I think this would be cool, but there's not a lot of content creators on the game right now. A crafting update, yes! Please! Juggernaut Blaster Titan TV Man? Yes, that would be such a cool idea. Titan TV Man got smaller upgrades off camera back in episode 77, which halfway through the episode he got Astro Juggernaut's gun, but on top of that he had his own Astro Claw, he had his own shield, sort of like the Titan Cameraman, and that's on top of all the things that he originally had. Good Evo. Upgraded Titan Sonar Man, yes, since they added a new one to the Verlant series. Zombie Titan Clockman, I don't know about this one. And then some more Battle Armor Titans. Not bad. Down here, he says you should add the Watchman of Doom as an Astral. Honestly, I think the Watchman of Doom should be a story mode boss that's like super difficult to beat rather than just like an actual unit. But maybe if he gets disinfected, maybe they could add that sometime. Story mode has a real story. I don't understand how they didn't figure this out. If you're gonna add a story mode, you gotta add story. Simply go back, add some dialogue, and base the story off the actual show. It's that simple. Astro Scientist Mech. I think he means the Astro Scientist with the 3 lasers. I'll pop it up on screen in the editing process. But this would be a really cool unit. Could definitely work as like a... This could definitely work as a mythic. And then maybe if they want to take it far, they can make a Mythic Plus rarity where you evolve that Astro Mythic into the normal scientist. Because I feel like if they added the normal scientist as a unit, it would be very good. Titan Astro Duchess is basically the Astro Duchess but way stronger. Yes. Like, these are such good ideas for story mode bosses. I don't know why they don't make these. If you want to have a good tower defense game, having good towers is one thing, but you also need to have good bosses. Look at the best tower defense games on Roblox. TDS, TDX, even other games off Roblox like Bloons TD. If you don't have strong enemies, then making stronger units seems pointless. It's like superheroes. If Batman doesn't have the Joker, then who would watch a Batman movie? Then it just turns into some emo guy with parent issues.
Why so serious?
A fusion event where every week there's a limited character for fusions. Wait, I think they could turn this into something cool. For example, every week, you get this little fusions booth that has different crafting recipes for godlies and cosmics that aren't obtainable in the game right now. I think it's kind of stupid that some of the core characters in the series, which are some of the main reasons why people play these kinds of games, are only obtainable through trading. See, like G-Tornat 4.0, he's super cool, people would want him, for sure. But if he's only obtainable for trading, most people aren't gonna get him, they're gonna be super sad, and then they're gonna leave and go play another game. So if they added that fusion mechanic, where they pick an unobtainable unit, and make it obtainable via a very hard crafting recipe for just a week, and then switch over to the next one, that might be a cool way to bring them back. Buff old units in the coin crates, they are so outdated. Yes! If they don't nerf and buff units, then the power creep that this game is gonna have is gonna become TTD levels. You want YouTubers to make content on your game? Change a couple numbers. It's that simple. Every time a unit gets reworked or buffed or nerfed, in TDS for example, Corso will make a video on it. Because even though it takes a long time to update, if developers are able to drip feed stuff like that, where rebalances can change the meta of units, then it allows the community to be satisfied for slightly longer, giving you more time to put out your updates. I've actually talked to the devs about it, and obviously there are some restrictions with owner thresholds and stuff like that, which prevent them from doing things like that, but I believe if they're able to convince them, this would probably be the most beneficial thing for the entire game. Pity system. I mean, pity system's alright, but realistically, you can't be that unlucky that they have to use a pity system for the game. Every time I've seen a pity system in a video game, it's usually just so useless, because the chances of you actually getting the unit instead of getting it from the pity system is much higher than most people think. Maybe they could add this, but I think it'd be a waste of their time. This guy's saying they should add endless rewards. I think endless is pretty bad right now. They reworked it, and then they unreworked it, which makes zero sense. It used to be so good, and now it's just less good because it just replays the same wave over and over and over again with slightly higher health after wave 50. That sucks. Please change it. Add new traits. I think the devs did actually talk about this in the Skibidi Tower Defense server. New traits are coming. But yeah, no, I feel like the trait system right now is a bit mediocre, so fresh new traits would be very well respected. Thing is, I don't know what they would add. Bold wreck helicopter unit that can only be stunned by the job application boss. Ashari. And we're banning this guy. Plushie wants a mode similar to Ohio mode in TTD, where all your units are randomized. I mean, it's not a bad idea, but realistically, why would they add that? There's already a randomized unit thing in the test servers, and I doubt that any legitimate player who isn't making that for content is gonna actually end up using it. Astro Voyager says that they should add something in your inventory that can separate common and rare units. Maybe like a favorites list would be cool. That way you can star your favorite units. But there's already the lock button, which you can use to lock down your favorite units and remember them for later. It also stops you from trading them away. Not sure about this one. Lore accurate enemies and towers. For example, Sinister Titan being able to destroy a map with his TIE nukes. Well, I think destroying the map would be a bit far, but I think it would be really cool if they added a mode where the boss is the reworked Sinister Titan, and he basically tries to stun your towers as much as he can to stop his time nukes from detonating, which have, you know, a certain number of minutes or seconds before they detonate and you lose the game. That's a cool boss idea. But if the time nukes were for an actual tower, yeah, fuck no, that's way too OP. Share a unit. Yes! Subscribe right now, please. I need a unit. This guy says that we should be able to get materials from other modes, such as the circuits are only obtainable through Act 6 of The Last Stand. He thinks that all should be obtainable through every mode, including endurance, just to balance so that it's only a percentage that you actually get one. This could be better. I put up a poll in the Discord server as well, asking if there should be a salvage units thing for materials, and 109 of you voted yes. That's 96%. I really think of the crafting mechanic, that if they added more ways to craft and get materials, plus more things to craft so it's actually worth it, people would be playing a lot more. Like, the crafting system's fine right now, but Fire to G-Toilet is only obtainable if you have G-Toilet 4.0. Barely anyone has that in the first place, and the Executioner takes like 100 hours to get. So unless you're max grind, I don't know how anybody's gonna get that. Add more crafting recipes, please. Add Sherry Toilet. Why okay. Trading wins actually is kind of onto something, since the wins, as you can see on this little thing up here, they're not really used for anything but to flex. If they added that leaderboard thing that I was talking about, where if you're on the leaderboard you get like 3x speed or something, or just like something cool like an advantage or a reward or like a flex thing, then it could be pretty cool, and they could actually use it for something. Add new bosses. At this point I'm just reciting the same stuff that I've always said. More bosses, please. There are so many available options that they could do for bosses, and they could do it so cool. New microphone units. Add more speed in game so matches will be faster. Yes, please. Here's my take on this. They should add player leveling. And if I had to choose, here's how player leveling would go. Each level you get slightly luckier, which means you're more likely to get things like godlies and cosmics from crates the more you level up. That way it's worth it to grind, because then the coins that you get stack on top of your player leveling, and people who grind more are more enticed to get actual stuff rather than just buying a game pass, or just not having any luck boosters at all and just winging it and losing all their coins. And then they could add extra advantages to player leveling, like higher speeds. There are many cool ideas that could come with player leveling. So I think that could be an important part of the game that they should add. An Evo for Godly upgraded Titan Cameraman. Or Cinemaman, I don't know. I think all the Godlies for the coin crates need an Evo, because Battle 1 is the best coin Godly right now, since you can turn him into a Divine. But if all the other ones get Evos, that would make the old ones super valuable as well, which is better for the game. Rework Overclock to spawn Titans based on her total kills at the end of the wave. Okay, I think the Overclocked right now is already pretty good, but people really like the ability where she spawns Titans. Maybe if she gets another upgrade in the show, they could implement that somehow. But I think she's fine the way she is. Zombie universe units, okay. Add animations to toilets, yes. This is just extra quality of life stuff, but obviously, like I said, better enemies complement the better units. So reworking or rebalancing them with things like animations, new designs, and pretty simple stuff like that could make your game feel so much better, so much quicker. Trading system rework. Make gems and items tradable. Okay, this would be cool. These potions are super underused. If they made these tradable and then add like a potion brewing system, so you can turn multiple double coins into coins 2, which just gives you more coins, or super luck into super luck x2, you know, actually make these like useful. Because look, I have 143 of these. They're easy to obtain. But in what world am I going to be using these? Like, I could just spam them, make them go forever, but they don't really do that much, and I'm pretty sure when the developers added the story mode update, they completely forgot to implement these at all. So a rework to the potion system would be great. And a pro server, okay. Pro server makes a little bit of sense, but at the end of the day, I think the normal servers work fine, and pro servers, you know, it would just be a ton of sweaty tryhards. I don't think it would like do much for the game. Marketplace would be nice, but we saw how much that lagged to our tower defense, and I think the booth system is better. A lot of people say this, but adding a sandbox mode is such a horrible idea. Even if it's for the best of the best in the entire game, I feel like part of the fun of these types of tower defense games is doing the actual grind in order to getting the units that you like. If everybody in the game can get admin commands some way or another, then what's the point of actually grinding and getting those cool units? No, everybody's just gonna spawn them in. I cannot be bothered grinding this game anymore since I can spawn it in, and even from a developer's point, if everybody can just spawn in units, nobody's going to play the game. Because what's the point of grinding for the units when you can just spawn them in? It will kill the game instantly. It's better to just let the player grind and then feel super rewarded when they have the unit that they tried to get. Because that feeling is unmatched. Old toilet tower defense days, before the game was like actually bad, if you guys were there, you would know the feeling of getting your first mythic. Everybody would go crazy and then use it against the hardest modes just to see how good it was. Kevin G wants Godly Pity. We already covered this. And he also says you should buff the experience from what you get from the new 78 mode. Yes, it is so difficult. Which for the executioner it kinda makes sense, but at the same time, not really, since the devs intended for you to take a long time to get it, and they also gave us 2 months, so you got a lot of time. Eventually you're gonna get it. Better trait rolls and summoning. This is basically just spending more coins and gems in order to get a higher chance at getting good traits. I think I'd honestly rather go for the player leveling thing that I just mentioned, because people would just grind a ton of coins, and then just spam a ton of godlies, and then godlies wouldn't be worth anything. Add share a unit. Yes! Let's go! Make the game less laggy so people can enjoy the game without the lag. Actually, I've been feeling that lag a little bit as well. I know there's low GFX and optimized VFX, plus you can just turn the graphics down from here, but it gets really laggy on some devices. I don't think it's too bad, but some optimization is probably needed. Evo Ice Thrower, yes. Buff units, yes. Rework old unit designs, yes. New abilities for old units, yes. Trait pity and some pity, alright. Rework PvP mode, they need PvP mode. Rework endless, yes. Add new bosses, yes. Add new enemies, yes. Buff all units DPS, I disagree with this one. But reworking certain units would be great. Remove some cameraman NPC because it's lagging mobile players. They might be able to add a thing where it removes animations and that will result in a lot less lag. Rework or Titan size. There's literally a text in the game that says the Titan's size aren't realistic because if they were, they'd be larger than the whole map. So when people complain about, oh yeah, the Titans are too big, or this unit's too big, or this unit's too small, who cares? Upgraded Buzzsaw Mutant, and okay, and just the rest of the G-Squad. G-Squad units would be really cool, by the way. Unpopular opinion, but I feel like this episode 78 pass is really mid, because it literally just gives you some parts, and some morphs, and some schematics and stuff. It's not very good. Extend the event, and then on top of that, you can add 100 tiers instead of 50. And then in those 100 tiers, you could add the G-Squad characters, or some other cool stuff. Some characters that you missed from the show. The new Mafia boss, Semi-Titan thing, from episode 79 part 1 is very cool. I would love to see that in the game, and I feel like if they added G-Squad into the pass, he would be a great tier 100 unit. Collaboration of games. What would they possibly collab with? The only other Skibidi game is Skibidi Defense, and that game plays completely differently to this game. And I'm not even going to mention Toilet Tower Defense, because this game is pretty much at war with them. 1+ slot game pass. Player leveling, they could add that there. But if the community wanted, if you add these things through player leveling, they could also add a pay-to-win feature, just so that the developers can actually make some money, because, you know, if a game is too free to play, that's also not very good. Developers need to make enough to, you know, live and, like, put food on the table. So, the 1+ slot thing, and the 3x speed or whatever, if they made it so that you can obtain it through both player leveling, or obtain it faster through just spending Robux, that would be pretty cool. Some new unit ideas. Pablo unit, yes, add a Pablo unit. Scientist TV man, cool, and some extra enemies. Special godly and a special cosmic when you reach a certain number of wins. Yeah, like I said, leaderboard rewards. Levels on different units can be reset after reaching max level in order to get an additional attack or range buff. Yeah, unit level is a bit underused. I know that they tried to fix it with crafting since you need a certain level of unit in order to craft the higher up version, which I found pretty nice. But it would also be nice if, say they took this Astro upgraded Titan cameraman, he does 75,000 DPS. They could also make it so that at level 1 he does 60,000 DPS, but at level 25 he goes back to what he should be, 75k. So instead of making units stronger than they already are, people have to grind in order to make their unit as strong as it should be. Make a harder endurance map that gives better rewards. No, I think a better story mode map would be better. Endurance works exactly like the hardest mode that used to be in the game, but they completely forgot to add back easy mode, medium mode, whatever hard mode. That was to convince players in order to try out story mode missions first, which is good. The story mode doesn't have a story right now, so I see why people are a bit mad. Trait chance change. So just buff the trait chances. Yeah, I don't know why Super Payday is just as rare as Grandmaster. Super Payday should just be up there with Master and Sniper. Hyper UTS, okay. This is an easy way to make a godly version, or an Evo version, for the Mythic Titan Speakerman. I feel like the Mythic Titan Speakerman is literally the worst mythic in the entire game right now. My Ice Thrower does 10,000 DPS, Titan Speakerman does 11,000 DPS. You're telling me that this big-ass Titan does the same DPS as my Ice Thrower? This little guy with an ice gun. What? With the Despicable Me freeze ray. This is why reworking and buffing old units is insanely good for the game. Cause holy, this guy sucks. Fix the chat bug when you're trading with someone. I don't know how this is still in the game. Whenever you're trying to chat with someone privately, in trading, it tells the other person that they sent a message, but they can't see the message, so you have to type through Roblox chat. Really annoying. Please fix. Astro Juggernaut. They should definitely add Astro Juggernaut. We know that he's about to switch sides any day now, because in season 25 they had that whole chat where Jimmy was like, please join us, mending heart emoji, but they might just wait for it to actually happen in the series first. If they aren't gonna have him as a unit though, rework his actual enemy, an obtainable title that you can do by doing a specific task, and he has a ton here. That's not bad. People can obtain tags and achievements to flex how good they are. Not a bad idea. The G-Toilet Decoys. That could be a boss. I don't see that being a unit. Executioner from the concept version. I think they should definitely add this sooner or later. If you didn't know, the original episode 78 animation was put out onto YouTube. Since Boom hired a team to make that episode, but he didn't like their final product, so he just turned it down and remade the whole thing himself. That's why that episode took so long, so they just ended up uploading their take onto YouTube, and turns out that the Executioner originally looked like that. Very cool. Although not as cool as the new one, of course. I think they could definitely add this some way or somehow. Obviously don't make him nearly as good as the actual new one, but it would be a cool idea to add him in some way. Add Sherry to the game. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Those were your ideas for Skibidi Tower Defense. Let me know which ones you agree with. I hope that all the devs can see this so they can give their take and see which ones they agree with and want to add. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, I need my own unit. Join the Discord for more videos like these, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.